Hello Bookish readers, my name is Medallio. This time I am reviewing the second book in the Wastelander series called The Outsider by E.S. Luck. And let me tell you, I loved The Wastelander. There was a cliffhanger at the end and I could not wait to dig into The Outsider, and it did not disappoint. Thank you so much, Luck, for letting me read your story. Hello Bookish people, I just wanted to interrupt this video to give a little bit of a shout out to Bookish collaborator B&H Publishing and Editorial. Now Robin and her team, they help authors polish their manuscripts and ready them for publication. They offer these particular services: developmental editing, copy editing, proofreading, and traditional and hybrid publishing support. Now, personally, I can't say enough about this business because I actually worked with Robin in editing Shadow Creatures, my second book, and her professionalism was just unmatched. She came in with her sample edits and she really understood the vision for the story, even though it was bigger than we ever expected it to be. And she also came in with suggestions that just elevated the story to what it is now. There's flexible payment plans, and B&H consistently wants to help authors. So I can't recommend this business any more than I already do. If you need any editorial or publishing support, please reach out to B&H Publishing and Editorial. The story starts where we left off from the Wastelander, where Kimmy, Claire, and John's their campsite has been attacked by the Order cult that has been coming after Claire. So when this happens, Kimmy gets hurt, and I was not okay with this. I got on my social media and I went and DM'd the author. I know, probably wasn't a good look, but luckily she and I already have a rapport, so it wasn't a bad thing. But I need to express my feelings that Kimmy cannot die. And if I did that, then I am extremely invested. So while Kimmy is on her deathbed, Claire comes up with a possible solution. And this solution it could be deadly for she and John. But they do it because why would you not save Kimmy's life? Okay. While they're out there, they find Asha. That's right. We found your girl. We found Asha. Okay. Yeah. So Asha, she ends up going back with Claire and John back to the campsite where Kimmy is, she's going through it. And the whole time, John keeps thinking that he has this bad feeling about Asha. And I really think that this is a foreshadowing of what is actually going to come. And this whole time, they're in survival mode. All four of them are trekking through the dead of winter in Canada. I don't know how they did it. There's a scene where they ended up on a frozen lake. They all had to basically run. They had to run across a frozen lake to get away from cannibals. And John falls through the ice, and I just knew it. I knew that Claire was going to go after him, and she did. And I was clenching. I was on the edge of my seat. And honestly, if they didn't make it back to the valley when they did, if they were still out there for maybe even more, like a week, less than a week, that would have been it for those characters. They would have been unalive by the cold weather. Honestly, I kept thinking, aren't their feet cold? Because it wasn't written if they were or not. So because that's my pet peeve in the cold. I hate my feet are cold. So I was thinking, are they cold? Are their toes numb? Now, this whole time that they're trekking through and they make it back to the valley and they're trying to live their lives in Summerhurst, the Order is hunting down Claire. The Order is a cult, and the leader of the cult has everybody believing that Claire is the vessel. And in my opinion, the cult leader just comes up with this because it's a cover-up to basically short the lies and the secrets that he has that involve Claire's family. And these are secrets that Claire doesn't even know. So That's the danger on the part of like where Claire and her family are, but there's also danger in the valley because Claire and Asha, they get there and they're considered outsiders. And Claire does everything that she possibly can to get them to like her. She provides her knowledge, she provides a helping hand whenever they need it. She's doing whatever she can and she's being kind as well while she's doing it, which is also her nature. Asha, on the other hand, she doesn't try to fit in. And she's had conversations with Claire and Kimmy multiple times where they're telling her, girl, you need to fit in. You're gonna get kicked out. So Asha, she just doesn't even try. She just proceeds to be extremely snippy and snarky to Claire, Kimmy, and John the whole entire time. And it honestly just reminds me, Asha reminds me of that mean girl that just consistently creates conflict when it's just not necessary. The order does catch up to them through an unexpected person. And let me tell you, I was so upset about that betrayal because Claire is such a genuinely good person. I just don't understand why you would betray her. Why? What do you get out of it? I don't understand. Claire and John's romance, it just grows. And their intimacy, it's just so beautiful. It's so beautifully written. Their romance weaves into the story beautifully. It just makes sense whenever these smack scenes come in, or even when we have these moments where they just kiss or hold hands, or when they're just bickering with each other, like playful banter. It just fits. You can honestly tell that these characters love each other. At this point, too, they decide that once they settle into the valley, they're going to get married. And I think that their spicy scenes just get better and better, especially once they get married. It's just the intimacy is just, like I said, it's just like sizzling on the pages. I love it. I ate it up. If you had long, sleepless nights, just a few feet away from a good looking wastelander, do you think you would give in to your carnal desires? My answer is yes. I mean, come on. Yes. Claire. Soft spoken, sweet, kind, and shy. I think that Claire is the type of woman that came across in the beginning as someone who just couldn't get by without modern amenities, which it makes sense because she wasn't born and raised in the wasteland. But she does quickly pick up the skills that she needs in order to survive. And I think that it impresses John and Kimmy, considering this isn't the life that she grew up in. Once they're in the valley, she steps up and she provides knowledge. She provides the skills that she had back in the compound to those around her. And she shows them kindness even when they push her down to a lower status. Her kindness shows in the valley and also in the wasteland, especially to those that need to be helped. Like, for example, Claire, Asha, Kimmy, and John, they were at a trading post. And this particular trading post also deals in the human trade of children and women. And Claire has never seen this before. So, in her curiosity, she moves closer to the stage where the product is being presented. And she almost gets kidnapped herself. So, her naivety doesn't really bode well for her safety. There are some beautiful moments between Claire and John. And I love to see the fact that we get this vulnerable side of him, especially in a dystopian way of life. And John never really had a chance to grieve his grandparents. And I think that the way that Claire comforts him, it just shows how much their love has grown and how much they really know each other and respect each other. John, he's tense, serious, and resourceful, and he deeply cares about those who are in his close family and friend circle. He's rightfully suspicious of others, and that might come across as a bit of a brute, but I think that this has probably saved his life on multiple occasions. I love it when Danny, his best friend, tells stories about when he and John were younger. It just brings out this playful side to John because he's always so serious, you know? So we get to see this sweet part of him that we don't normally get to see. I mean, honestly, I welcome a man with John's life skills because he's going to keep me alive, one. Two, he's going to be able to notice things that may not be obvious to the average human being. I think that he's a valuable character for Claire's survival, and it's undeniable that he cares for her on a deeper level that could borderline insanity. They walk among us, an impossible existence, half human, half vampire, all weapon, but a darker power has risen. The witches have declared war. The hybrids are humanity's only hope if they can survive their own blood. The fight begins in Youngblood, the electrifying first installment. Then the darkness takes hold in Shadow Creatures. Choose your side. Read the Hybrid series today. So there are a few conflicts I identified. Number one is the Order hunting Claire and possibly a new villain coming after Claire. Another conflict is that Claire has to make peace with the estranged relationship that she has with her mother and that she is not going to be able to save Holly, her sister, unfortunately. And the third conflict is that Claire and John have created this beautiful life together in the valley, but the people of the valley still will not accept her. In conclusion, The Outsider by E.S. Luck is the type of dystopian romance that I have been hoping for, and I hope that everybody else has been hoping for too. This one gets 4 peppers and a kiss. This was not a slow burn. There were some really, really great smack scenes between these two characters, and we got a lot of them, and I was okay with that. I just love the intimacy between John and Claire. I think that their intimacy, as we see their romance and we see their love grow, it also propels the story, which it should, because these smack scenes should aid in the storyline, not just be something thrown in there. And I don't think that Luck does that. Luck gives us exactly what we were hoping for between these two characters. And I just think that their intimacy, it just like sizzles on the pages. It explodes. There are some mundane parts to the story, but I do think that this just shows us maybe a foreshadowing of the happily ever after that Claire and John get, where they can just live their lives peacefully without all of this conflict happening in the background. Now, I do wonder about the virus. So there was a virus that wiped out a large portion of the population decades ago, and there haven't been any flare-ups as far as we know, as far as we've seen. However, Kimmy, when she got hurt, she developed an infection. And I kept thinking, is this the infection? And we don't know. But I want to know more. I want to know if that particular disease is still out there and could people potentially still get it? I know it's been like decades that have gone by, but it hasn't been eradicated. E.S. wrote that Claire's father was potentially murdered, that it's not really certain what happened to her father. So my theory, which may contain spoilers, is that Claire's father is alive. And the reason why this other villain is hunting Claire is because her father is a part of that other compound, the thumb drive. Okay, so the thumb drive from Neil, addressed to Claire, she was so distraught by the information that she was like, destroy it. And I'm thinking, I'm yelling, no, don't destroy it. Please don't destroy it. I hope that the tech guy who was working on it, I hope that he just put it somewhere safe in case they needed it. are some trigger warnings to this that I picked up on. There's violence, there's mild cannibalism, human trade, and blood and gore. Overall, I do recommend reading The Outsider by E.S. Luck. Now, this book does end on a cliffhanger, so just be aware of that. I know some readers don't prefer cliffhangers. There's also supposed to be a third book that's supposed to close out this whole series, and it's going to give Claire and John their happily ever after. So if you want to start from the beginning, if you want to see how John and Claire, they started their romance, which I highly recommend, read the first book in the series called The Wastelander by E.S. Luck. I devoured it, so I think you will too. Support indie authors with me. Like and subscribe for more reviews, giggles, and recs. Thank you so much. Goodbye.